Yeah, it was a dour sort of a game. What I was most pleased about was we were able to win in a game that was played like that, because probably we don't necessarily get associated with those sorts of wins, the Brisbane Lions. But I thought tonight we toughed it out. We probably could have been a little bit further in front at half time, just a bit of accuracy in front of goals. But what I loved about our game tonight was our defence. We kept them to a small number of inside 50s, which is really pleasing.
Harris Andrews, in form at very nice time. He felt unstoppable.
Yeah, what a game. Well, so many spoils, I think 11 spoils and 9 intercept marks. Yeah, he was everywhere. Jack Payne being able to play on Max King was pivotal as well, so that enabled Harris to play the role that he did. So good job by both those lads. Jack had a bit of a sore ankle during the week, and it was a little bit of touch and go whether he'd play, and so to keep Max King, who's been in great form, goalless, it's a pretty special effort by a young player.
Just on the other end, Eric Hipwood as well was really terrific right from the start, setting up goals and opportunities for himself.
Yeah, he's a bit of a criticised player, Eric, but he's been in great form the last 3 or 4 weeks. I think he's been in good form all year. He just wasn't kicking goals. He was doing a lot of pressure work for others and creating opportunities for others. But the last few weeks, he's had some chances to score. So, he's marking tonight. He was hard to stop. I thought he did a great job.
I mean, it was a critical game coming in. You could have slipped out of the top 4 if you lost. Did Andrew sort of, as a co-captain, did he sort of have that unknown real desire to really stamp his presence on the match?
Oh, potentially. I haven't talked to him about that. I mean, I thought the whole leadership group tonight were pretty good. They all understood the importance of the game and the need to step up, and they all did. So, he did it in a major sort of way, but guys like Dunkley and Neil and McCluggage, Lincoln McCarthy, I've probably forgotten somebody in the leadership group. I shouldn't go through names. It's always a trap. Jared Berry was very, very good. No, they all contributed strongly. Oscar McInerney is another one. I think I've got them all now. So, good game.
And staying down back, but Wilmot and Starcevich on Higgins and Butler were quite important as well, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. We all know Stas is a pretty good negating defender, particularly of smaller players. And Darcy Wilmot hasn't played many games of football, but he plays in a manner that suggests he's in his 20s, not still in his teens. So he is a great get by our recruiting staff, and we just love his energy and the way that he fits into the team.
Chris, you seemed a little bit fired up at 3/4 time. Were you seeing something you weren't liking, or were you just trying to keep the team motivated?
No, just trying to keep the boys moving along. It wasn't a margin where you felt comfortable, just wanted to reinforce that what we'd been doing was working and to keep doing it, because it wouldn't take much for them to get a little bit of a sniff and get back into the game. And as it turns out, Oscar McInerney's fingernail probably stopped them from maybe getting that sniff. But it was great presence of mind by him not to get upset about not being given a free kick for a push in the back, which I think was there, and he just stayed in the moment and tried to get a smother in, and luckily got a fingernail on. So good mental strength there from him.
I feel like the combination of your big men, especially through the ruck up forward, is really sort of maybe humming a bit now. It felt Joe was influential, Oscar had the better over on Marshall. We talked about Eric before, like that balance in terms of who's forward, who's in the ruck. It feels like they're all sort of being very influential at the same time. Yeah,
they are. They're a talented group of tall players, and then Darcy Fort came on and made a little bit of a difference as well. We just decided towards the end of the third quarter to go even a little bit taller to see what could happen there. It's probably an unusual choice, Darcy as a sub, but we went in a bit smaller than we normally do tonight, so I was sort of mindful of if we need to go tall again, it would be good to have him there. But yeah, they're all in good form.
You mentioned two of you, Chris, Jack Gunston and Daniel Rich. Where are they at? How far away are they? What did you say out the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, they're still doing a training block, so they're 2 weeks into that. I think they'll continue with that this week. They're both looking better for it, I think. I think I'm a reasonable judge, but no, they're both looking better for it. But it'll be a week or two before maybe they come back into playing. I just need to chat to them about that because we're sort of working this together, this out together as we go along.
Has it sort of, bringing Lohman and Fletcher and these guys into the team, has it sort of given you guys that sort of that battle for spots, that tension for selection that you want, I guess?
Yeah, it never hurts,
Yeah.
and it's good to give those young players opportunity to see what they can do. I mean, Jasper Fletcher didn't do a hell of a lot tonight, but how good was that intercept mark at the end? That shows great promise and poise. Kyle Lohman had some good moments as well, so it's good to get games into them, and it helps you build your depth. And you're right, competition for spots is never unhealthy.
So just going back to the Gunston question, is there a timeline? Is it just open at this point? Do you need to see something
I always thought it was going to be around about a month, I suppose, in my own mind. But yeah, just again, it's more me chatting to them and seeing where they're at and whether they think, that they might need a half a game in the reserves just to gradually build up. I don't know. We just haven't really explored that fully.
You mentioned inaccuracy earlier. Your accuracy has been actually quite good for most of the season. In the last 6 weeks, I think you kicked more behinds than goals. Is that sort of a little bit of a concern, even as good as the performance was tonight?
Yeah, no, it's a little bit of a worry. It hasn't been a concern of ours for a while, but I think we kicked 19 points last week and 12 tonight, and I think we kicked maybe 18 against Adelaide a few weeks ago, and that really cost us. Fortunately, last week and this week it didn't. We haven't changed anything that we've done. It's not like we've stopped doing it at training or anything like that. It's just sometimes the way it rolls, but hopefully that turns itself around. I don't really want to make it a thing. If you talk about it too much, it gets in everyone's heads, I think.
Chris, you're forging some really good form at Marvel Stadium, but unfortunately haven't quite been able to with the MCG. Why do you think there's that? Why do you think you haven't?
I don't know. You got any theories on it? Because I can't work it out. Oh, look, we play here a fair bit. But that's our third game of the season here tonight. And generally speaking, over the last 3 or 4 years, we've had a lot of games here. Not so many at the MCG. I think it helps you if you play at the MCG. It's a unique sort of oval. We've had one game there. And I don't know whether you should judge us on that either, because the way it's looking, the results after buys haven't been great when you're playing against teams who haven't had a buy. I think so far it's about 100%, isn't it? Geelong lost last night, and the only game, St Kilda's the only team to win off the buy, but they played another team that had the buy. So I don't know what to read into that. I'm looking forward, and we're all looking forward to further opportunities to play at the MCG. We did win a final there last year. So again, I can't see any reason why we can't do well there.
How hard do you push for more games at MCG? Is it something you're constantly, before the fixture comes out, you push hard?
You'd have to talk to Greg Swan about that. I haven't actually gone to him and said, could you give us more games at the MCG? I guess because it's a bigger capacity ground, it probably makes more sense to play the games here because we don't necessarily get huge crowds in Melbourne. So I think it's more economics than anything else.
I know you said during the week that you didn't have to tell these players how high stakes this game was. Richmond up at the Gabba next week. They've been in form. You're coming in good form. Obviously, there's that context of the elimination final last year. It's a big game.
Yeah, no, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was a massive game. That wasn't it. One of the best games I've ever been involved in. 17 score changes. Was that the game where there was lots of score changes? Yeah. They've been in very good form. So we'll have to be on our best form next week. They've got a really good chance to push their way into the 8, so it's another high stakes game. I'm sure our players will be really motivated. They're really motivated tonight. I think we've played now 8 games on the road and 6 at the Gabba, so we're 4-4 on the road, which is not a bad road record. I think there's some banter about we're not much of a team on the road, but I don't know whether any of you study the world of sport. But if you're 50% on the road, you're actually pretty good. Who won the NBA this year? The Nuggets. So their home record was 31-7, and their away record was 19 wins and 22 losses, and they won it. So if we can be around 50%, I'll be happy with that.
Do you think you get Dane back? I know you're being patient with him.
Yeah, hopeful. I know he had a good running session yesterday and was pain free, so that's a good sign. So we'll see where he's at on Thursday night. It might be good to have a couple of fresh people in, given that we haven't got too long a turnaround.
Any injury concerns tonight? Or
No, I think we're all clear. We just used our sub. Kyle Oman was okay.